Hello, hello, hello. My name is Sam, otherwise known as Function, back again. More Supreme Commander, Forged Alliance Forever. Today we are on another recent addition to the ladder pool, ZD Rasty Light, 10k map. Let's meet the players. We've got Tagada playing blue Cybran, and on the other side we've got Thomas Hyatt playing red Aeon. Let's take a look at the map. I've seen one or two games on this map, but I'm not overly familiar with it. Fair amount of mass, 25, 26k mass in total. There's a lot of these 38 value rocks, a few 75 value rocks floating around somewhere. I think mostly 38 actually. There's a 75, mostly 38. No significant tree reclaim. There's a little bit, but not tons. Got a couple plateaus here. You can only get to these, I believe, by airdropping. And then you've got these kind of mini expansions with hydrocarbons, and then a major triple expansion here with a hydrocarbon as well across the river. Now these rivers, this pond here, very important. Normally what will happen, both players will take their commander across the water at some point, use their commander to secure this base, so the map will usually be split horizontally like this. Thomas will take the top half, Tagno will take the bottom half. That's usually how the game goes. Now the important difference between these two players here, pretty well matched in skill, but the important difference is that we've got one player playing Aeon and another player playing not Aeon. Aeon, with their floating Aurora, can treat all of this water like land, basically. Certainly for the first 10 minutes or so of the game. No such luck for the Cybran player. Cybran has to get to tier 2 before it can get units that can land units that can cross the water. Otherwise they have to go all the way up and around, so it's especially important to get the ACU across the water, get some land factory set up on this side, get some production set up. But of course the Aeon player will be able to localize their production much more easily and just shift their units around freely. Got a spirit out. Gonna take a couple of pot shots at an engineer as it passes, but it is actually just out of range there. We've got a hunter, sorry, a flare here. We've got a hunter and a mole. No, that's a mantis and a mole coming out for Tagada. No labs for Tagada, just the one lab for Thomas, and then both of them going for tanks after that. We've got actually quite a number of tanks already. We've got 4 Aurora out already, 4 Mantis out for Tagada, with associated moles. Looks like both players are moving their comms over to the rivers now. Pretty much exactly the same timing. Both players pretty much the same timing, going anti-clockwise, going up this flank, but we've got this initial flare over here is going to get this engineer kill, and this is an important engineer there. So this factory has not gone up, this mech has not gone up, we have no engineers going towards this area. One of these 2 engineers is going to have to be brought up there, but certainly these 3 mechs are going to take some time to be built now. On this side, this mech has already been built, and we've got this expansion that can be built. Although I suppose this engineer is actually not going to go for this expansion. Presumably going to get another engineer to do that instead. But regardless, that's a good engineer kill for that flare, and it's actually still alive. Just being annoying in the back there. I believe Thomas Hyatt, looks like, yeah, he got 1 kill with his commander there on the enemy Mantis. Mole sitting in the back, just getting a little bit of radar coverage. Nice group of Mantis here, 8 Mantis, 7 Mantis and a Mole there. Gonna go up against the 4 Aurora. The Aurora, of course, much more maneuverable and with much better range, but there's no spirit here, no radar coverage for these Aurora, so they actually can't make use of their extended range. So in a straight up and down fight with even numbers, the Mantis would win. And of course there are actually more Mantis there anyway. Mantis with 270 hit points, yeah, and the Aurora with 140, so about double the hit points on those Cybran units. Do have this flare is going all the way along the bottom here. I would imagine that this is an attack move. Yes, it is, because it stops now that it's gone into range. But there we go. Flare goes down. I'm not sure if that flare got any more kills. I think the only kill that flare got was the engineer that was up here, and now an engineer has gone in to replace the. You see the wreck just there. Got a small raiding party, a couple of Aurora back here. They have managed to kill a Mex and an engineer here. So that's quite good. There's a fair amount of reclaim. This engineer was probably going to get all of this reclaim. Now that's... what is that? That's maybe 700 reclaim, really. Maybe... yeah, wow. That's a lot of reclaim that will not be collected in the near future. In the very near future, at least. T2 land started for Thomas. T2 land already complete for Tagada, so I'm interested to see if Tagada's... he's actually going for hot plates. I was wondering whether he was going to go for Wagners or Rhinos, and he just goes for hot plates, of course. Hot plates, very good unit. I always forget about them. Very long range, very maneuverable, quite high damage, very low hit points, but pros and cons. 2 Aurora here, making use of their floaty nonsense. They will get across the river there. Get in range of a Mantis. One Mantis almost kills an Aurora despite being outnumbered, but Aurora being microed away just the nick of time. I would like to see... well, there's a spirit here. I was going to say I'd like to see more radar coverage with all of the raiding Aurora, so that they can actually make use of their extended range. Otherwise, they're just kind of, well, worse versions of FAMs, really. Of course, they can float, but in a straight up and down battle, they're certainly weaker than the Mantis without the range advantage. T2 upgrade has gone down on the land HQ. Oh, there it is. And the range upgrade started on that Aeon commander. Aeon, of course, have to get the range and speed upgrades separately. Every other faction can get a combination upgrade on their gun. A few engineers. Looks like they're on a attack move order from the factory up here. I get some reclaim, but double Mantis. Something else to say about that. A couple interceptors drop down. I think that one of those is maybe an interceptor wreck, I'm not sure, but certainly those interceptors took some damage for free. The range upgrade was completed. Thomas Hyatt almost going for a sensor upgrade. That extra vision on the Aeon Commander, probably not the best upgrade to go for. Very useful, in my opinion, on a 5k map. Not quite as useful on a 10k map, but he's switching up to that speed upgrade. Over here we had a drop, and now we've got a counter drop. A hoplite in there will be able to clear out any resistance. We've got 3 engineers there to construct the hydrocarbon and the mechs. Nice raiding party over here. That's what was that? 8 Aurora, 9 Aurora, and a Thistle? Yep, Thistle, mobile anti-air. Coming in, taking out a couple of mexes. I assume there was at least one engineer. Looks like a radar installation got taken down as well. Engineer frantically trying to get PD up, but got that about 80% complete, and then the engineers all died. Down to 5 Aurora now, but this raiding party definitely done a good job, especially since you've got a whole lot of Mantis having to be called over, and you've got a Rhino as well. being called over to sort out just a very small number of Aurora, so very, very good use of resources here. A couple of hoplites. I did see a rhino. There's the rhino. I don't see any Wagners. Mostly going for hoplites at the minute. And good, we've got T2 over here on this side of the river, so Tagada can produce T2 units out of here. He doesn't have to produce the slightly weaker Wagners and get them across the water. He can just produce T2 units, stronger T2 units on this side of the map. Very good to see that. This raiding party still getting work done despite all of the distraction that they've made. They've still got another 2 mexes, presumably another couple engineers, maybe some of those Aeon Rex. Maybe there's an engineer in there, not sure, but these Aurora are going to go down now. Perhaps a micro order was taken over here to try and get this last engineer. Not lucky enough to get that. We've got a Blaze out. Recently upgraded those Blazes. Very good unit, very cheap, very strong. Well, strong for their cost. There's a good number of them in there. There's 4 now, one of them went down, so 5 Blazes originally in this group. Tearing through the T1 units, very high rate of fire. Also very maneuverable like the Aurora, they can float across the water. Their counterparts, the Obsidian heavy tank, we do see them, no, those are Blazes. Don't see any Obsidians there. I'm not actually sure if the Obsidians can float, I have a feeling they cannot, but the Blazes certainly can, so they're a very good choice of unit for now. But just getting repelled by these rocket bots, the hoplites. Very high DPS on those hoplites, so got quite a lot of mass now just being dumped here. There's about 2,500 mass there. Tagada should realistically be able to clean that up. He's got, looks like, yeah, he's got an engineer coming over here to first get the mechs and then get some of this reclaim, so that's good to see. Take a look at the mass totals. Both players sitting around 33k mass. There's about 2k lead for Thomas Hyatt. Tagada now counter raid. He is pushing up the right hand side. These units were originally tasked here to escort engineers to reclaim this area. The area has been reclaimed, so these units will just move up. They take a couple of mexes out. Looks like they will get at least one more, presumably a second one. And this is an upgrading mex. This is a T1.5 mex. If that goes down, that's a fair amount of resources. A T2 mex, the upgrade is worth about 20 tanks. I think the Aurora is slightly cheaper than the Mantis, I'm not sure, but whatever the case, a T2 mex is worth roughly 20 T1 tanks, but these Mantis actually not gonna keep going around, so they will not get that lucky find. This would have been a really good target to take out. You take out, you know, a T1 mex that's 90% of the way completed to a T2 mex. That's a really nice pickup there. Let's take a look at the econ. Tagada with a lead in income. Of course, this mex is about to be upgraded, so that lead will be closed slightly. About what's that? 4 mass per tick income lead for Tagada at the minute. Total mass in favour of Tagada now. It's got some of these wrecks, but I'd like to see some rhinos, some hoplites move into this area, secure it so that the engineers can do their work. But it looks like the ACU is going to do that instead. Even better. ACU, of course, a mixture of tank and engineer, all in one. As long as you can keep him alive, very good to get that guy on the front lines. Suck up all that mass, but this is a triple upgraded comm. He's got the double gun upgrade and a shield upgrade. 8,000 hit points, so 19,000 total hit points on that commander. Just 10,000 hit points. If I can get rid of this, this is not in a good spot. Move that up there. There we go. Just 10,000 hit points versus 19,000 hit points. I don't need to tell you who's going to win this if it's just comm versus comm, but there's a lot of T2 units in here, so actually Tagada just going to have to back off 4,500 hit points melted away from that shield from a single volley of hoplites. Like I say, very good DPS on those guys. And T3 land HQ has been started, so we're going to see some bricks, we're going to see some loyalists in this game, I hope. The Cybran have access to some very cool T3 land units. All of Asylums in here, 3,500 hit points on those shields. Once they get in position, they will soak up a lot of damage from those hoplites. Even though the Blazes do seem to be outnumbered, those shields keeping them healthy for now. One of the shields goes down, and it's only, how many hit points? Only 100 hit points on the body, on the chassis of that Asylum. So it does go down very quickly once the shield is dead. These Blazes look like they're going to have to back off, satisfy themselves with a few kills, but down here we can see that Thomas has dipped back out of the water. Lost his shield, taken a couple hit points off the body of the commander. Still very healthy though, of course. T3 land completed. I didn't see that get started, but Harbinger's queued up already, skipping straight past engineers. Does he? Yes, he's built T2 power gens, so he must have T2 engineers somewhere. Shouts out if you can spot them. There they are on the front lines, doing nothing currently, but in a good position to get some turrets up maybe. And we've got commanders into blaze. There's nice overcharge there, gets 2 blazes, but just 4,000 hit points now on that Siren commander. Tagada gonna have to back away, of course. Pretty safe map, lots of water, so Tagada just sticking near the water. He can, of course, hide in there. He's not really in too much danger of actually dying. A couple blazes and an obsidian there. Actually coming in, trying to harass this outpost, but very decent number of T2 units here for Tagada, so that will be safe. There is a pigeon outside my office. Sorry if you can hear that. Not much I can do about it at the minute, but back to the game. These commanders still very close together. Shield is back on, 8,000 hit points there. Bonus for Thomas Hyatt. He's got a level of veterancy. Do we see? No, 0 levels of veterancy for Tagada. So Thomas very much in the lead in terms of ACU power. Tagada in the lead though with mass, about 4,000, 3,500 mass in the lead there. He's got a pretty significant income lead. Take a look at Reclaim. He's got a Reclaim lead as well. Seems to be managing his economy just a little bit better. He went for a slightly later T3 land HQ, so maybe that comes into it a little bit. I would imagine we're going to see hopefully some more economy production from Thomas soon, just so we can catch up. This is actually a pretty significant difference, 18 mass per tick. You can see we're already up to 7,000 mass in favour for Tagada, so this gap is going to increase very quickly, unless Thomas eco's a little bit heavier, but Thomas with Harbingers on the front lines now. We see a couple over here, one here, one coming in, and on the right hand side we see one as well. Is there a T3 land HQ, a T3 support factory up here? There is not, so that Harbinger did just walk around. I don't think the Harbingers can go underwater. Correct me if I'm wrong. Commander using, I believe that first shot was an overcharge. Just trying to keep those guys at bay. There's a ton of Medusa here. Medusa pretty good at large clumps of units that stun. Very useful against these units. Very high DPS, the shields of course. While they do provide a lot of DPS, a lot of HP to this group of units, it's not quite the same as just having HP in the form of units, because those shields are very easy to hit with T1 Arty fire. T1 Arty Will melt through those shields. Looks like the Harbinger has survived. It's on 19 kills. Wow. That is a very happy Harbinger. But it is going to have to back off in the face of all these T2 units. T2 units, excuse me. A lot of Medusa on this side as well, so Tagada electing to go for heavy T2 tanks, and he's got those bricks coming out now, and he's pairing those up with T1 artillery just to support. He's also got a trebuchet. He's been firing away for a while. You can see the pockmark here. The other shells presumably have gone into the shield, which is why we only see 3 pockmarks at the minute, but I believe it has been firing for quite some time. 3 asylums just for this one Harbinger. 2 of those shields have gone down. He's got to get under. There he goes. Up to 29 kills on that one Harbinger. 2 levels of veterancy. You're getting 12 hit points a second on the body and 30 hit points a second on the shield. It's a pretty happy Harbinger, but now a brick on this side has found its way over the river. The brick, of course, can submerge itself into torpedoes. It can walk underwater. So it crosses the water to support this commander. 4 bricks now. On this side, 5 bricks. 5th one has just been completed. And a sniper bot, you saw that long range, high speed shell come out there, 2 sniper bots. Don't see sniper bots too often, pretty cool unit. I certainly don't see them very often in my games. Only got a gun upgrade, no stealth upgrade. Siren Commander just yet, only 1 level of veterancy. This Aeon Commander, on the other hand, 3 levels of veterancy and a lot of upgrades. Tagada trying to dip out of the water, get some overcharges off, but I'll have to dip back in. Stay submerged, stay safe. Let his bricks soak up this intrusion. Bricks, 5 bricks, one of them goes down, but 5 bricks will be able to do a whole lot of work, and then Tagada will presumably be able to collect all of this mass. See a couple of rhinos and a hoplite there come up the left hand side. This hoplite actually has 2 levels of veterancy, 6 kills on that guy. Getting a few mech kills, nice to see. Wow, only 500 hit points on those sniper bots. I mean, that makes sense. Because they are such long range, such high alpha damage, but very squishy, so you really want to keep those out of range of those rocket bots. And there we go, that's an expensive unit. It's just gone down. I wonder how much mass is there. 600 mass, believe that's roughly the same as a Harbinger. It's about 600, yeah, 600 for the sniper bot, 650 for a Harbinger wreck, about 1,000 mass for a brick wreck. But still, you want to keep those sniper bots safe. And Thomas Hire, despite all his upgrades, despite all his veterancy, he's about to get his 5th level of veterancy, but he's into the red. He does get under a shield there. Just about surviving. He's about to get his last level of vet. Quick! There it goes. I was very worried for a second there. Lots of Medusa fire, a brick, a couple of rhinos wailing away on him, but he finally gets that 5th level of veterancy. He went down to, I think, below 2,000 hit points, maybe down to about 1,200 hit points, something like that. Very scary. If there was another trebuchet or 2, that could have been game over right there, but happily we get to keep watching the game for a little bit longer. The Harbinger just melting away all these Medusa. Does a Harbinger one-shot a Medusa? It does. Very cool. And Tagada does have access to overcharge, so I'm not sure why he didn't just overcharge that Harbinger. A brick. Once a brick gets in range, that is a dead Harbinger. Harbinger, of course, will get a lot of DPS off, but not enough. Bricks. Widely considered, I believe, the strongest all-round T3 land unit. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I am, but Very strong unit in the brick. Very expensive, of course. T2 mechs with full adjacency going down there. Another T2 mechs. Oh, almost goes down, but the brick gets dropped just in time to save it. That is very nice micro to get that. Presumably that brick came off the conveyor belt and then immediately got picked up in the, what is this called? Skyhook. Dropped just a few meters away. Very nice, very efficient. Good micro. Is it just the one trebuchet still? There must be at least two. I can see lots of shells. Can't find the other one. Maybe it is just one trebuchet. Anyway, trebuchet trying to get some work done. It's only got 2 kills total. Is that the same treb that we saw earlier? I think it probably is, so not the best usage of this guy. Up to 4 kills now, but... See, the side flanks, very volatile, very hard to keep those safe. Lots of mexes down the sides that are not staying built for very long. Tagada very much sticking to his plan of supporting his T3 unit with Medusa. Another trebuchet is rolling off. 6 kills now on this one, but of course a lot of silence, a lot of shields for the Aeon. So the trebs will be hard pressed to do too much, certainly in low numbers, but potentially nasty raid coming in this brick, doing its best to fend off, but 2 Harbingers, an Asylum and a Blaze. Should be able to kill a brick, although Thomas has other ideas. He's just retreating there. And here we go, 4 bricks and 1 Medusa in there for moral support. Not anymore. 4 bricks, very scary thing to see, certainly if you've only got 1 Harbinger protecting your major expansion. Do you have that Shield of Light, the T2 generator, T2 shield generator? Got an Oblivion, we've got another Oblivion going up. Just rolling off the conveyor belt there. If the bricks get under this shield, kill the shield, maybe go after these engineers, maybe just go straight for the engineers. There we go, they've decided to just eat their way through the shield. Now they are killing engineers. That's a pretty successful raid, I would say, but now we've got T2 Air, we've got the Spectre there, and a big air fight potentially brewing, but Tagada just going to back off. He's just going to leave these bricks to die, I think. Going to get a T3 factory, and Harbinger just rolls off, but it's on half health. Dies almost immediately. Well, I say that, and then it lives. There we go, now it's dead. That T3 factory has been destroyed. All the engineers going to die. T2 mech's going to die. This T2 mech's probably going to die also, so very nice raid here from Tagada. That's a big blow to Thomas Hyatt's economy. Let's take a look at his income. He has 89 income versus 148 from Tagada, and Tagada with a commanding total mass lead. And with this most recent raid, he is taking control of the map. Sniper bots doing what they can, trying to keep those bricks at bay. Very nice. Trebuchet goes down. That must be some pretty, yeah, nice scouting. Knows what most of these units are, although you can't actually. This is Trebuchet, you can't see that. But focusing down those high DPS long range units. Good to see. I've actually got engineers that have constructed some static anti-air right in Thomas's territory. Well, I suppose it's not really his territory anymore. All of this entire expansion has been demolished. This side of the map is looking very dangerous for him now. Very vulnerable, I should say. T2 mechs over here, we saw before. Still staying strong. did see that heavy shield. That was I saw that was started. I forgot about it, and it took a long time. Took 5.5 minutes for that to be completed. But it is completed now. It's an expensive upgrade, but 25,000 hit points on that shield, 16,500 hit points on that commander, a total of 41,500 hit points. Correct me if I'm wrong. Quick maths, and a total of 72 hit points per second regeneration. That's a beefy com. And with the power of the overcharges, let's see how much power storage he's got. He's got a nice amount of power storage, so he can get a ton of damage out with his overcharges. His income, yeah, almost 4,000 power income, so we can spam out those overcharges very quickly. Go use an entire overcharge on a single T2 shield generator. I'm not sure that was the best idea. Now he's got a ton of bricks, and he is just going to control K. Doesn't think he can win this fight here. Well, we get to keep watching the simulation for a little bit longer. He is technically dead, but yeah, these bricks demolishing the supporting forces. They would have, of course, turned on the commander there. What is that? 8 bricks in that formation. There's a couple that have just gone down, so 10 or 11 bricks. Not even sure this commander would have stood a chance, to be honest, even with all of its hit points. But there it is. There it was. An interesting game. We got to T3 fairly early. Got to see some cool units, but Tagada with superior raiding, superior control of the map. It was pretty even, pretty stalemate, pretty back and forth for most of it, but then we had this fantastic raid, 4 or 5 bricks coming in, just destroying this entire outpost. And we actually had 2 bricks here. Is this just 2 bricks? We're getting into the middle of the main base here. They would have pretty much clinched the game, even if this commander survived. These 2 bricks destroying all of the power generators, the T3P gen here. All of that power went down. Then Thomas would not have been able to hang on for much longer, even if he did survive. Excuse me, down here. But yeah, that's the game. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.